Good morning, Peachtree Corners. Your friendly city manager here. Another day, another short little conversation about all things in our fair city as it relates to mostly the coronavirus, but some other things too. Wanted to start with commending all of you again for just surviving another couple days since we've last talked. That we are in a position where, we're closer to that day where things, these restrictions are going to be lifted. And almost everybody is doing the right thing. So I want to appreciate, all of you for honoring the shelter in place restrictions, the way that they were published, and, go from there. So that being said, as I reference easing of restrictions, there was a rather significant announcement Monday late afternoon by Governor Kemp. He issued an additional executive order in which he announced his intentions to phase in a withdrawing or an easing of restrictions that had been put in place by him via either the emergency declaration that he issued earlier or the executive order, the shelter in place executive order. And essentially what he's done is he has clarified, or at least attempted to clarify, some restriction easements that will go into effect both this coming Friday and the following Monday. And at his press conference, he announced a couple things. So one, that starting on Friday, you have gyms, fitness centers, body art studios, nail and hair salons, massage therapy, bowling alley establishments will be allowed to open for business as long as they implement certain measures to mitigate the exposure and the spread of the COVID-19 virus. There's a list of mitigation measures that the governor references when he says that these businesses can open. It's everything from screening or evaluating customers or employees for fevers, having your employees stay home if they're sick. There's a number of other discouraging workers from using other people's phones, desks, other workplace tools and equipment. And there's 20 actual measures that his order includes. Now, two of them are ones in which we've talked about before. One is not having groups of more than 10 and not being within 6 feet of other people are part of those. But at the end of the day, starting on Friday, those business activities that I just mentioned are available for business to be conducted and to take customers. A couple of other additional things that were part of it. One is medical facilities are now allowed to start scheduling and conducting elective medical procedures versus emergent only medical procedures, which it had been. So that's another. So you may have some, elective medical procedure you've been waiting to happen, or getting in to see your physician for some reason and you haven't been able to because it hasn't been an emergent situation. It appears that now with, again, those mitigating steps being taken, you can go in and actually start that process of getting in front of your medical provider. Another significant change would be churches will be allowed to hold in-person services so long as the social distancing requirements are met. So that could start happening here very soon. And let's see, a couple other things of note. Dine-in restaurants and movie theaters will be permitted to open on Monday. That would be Monday, April 27th. Again, they have to ensure that patrons maintain the 6-foot distancing requirement. They have to implement those mitigating steps to prevent the spread of the virus. So both Friday and Monday, there's going to be a number of business activities that had been prohibited but will now be allowed. There are a few types of businesses that are not yet permitted to open at this time, nor has a date been set. Those include bars, nightclubs, amusement parks, live performance venues. Those are still not permitted to be open, and no date again set for when they will. And then public schools will still remain closed for the remainder of the school year, so that hasn't changed either. So, as it relates to the announcement, that's kind of a big change. Now, a couple of, observations that are pertinent to you as a stakeholder within Peachtree Corners. One, this order continues to supersede any local ordinance or order or resolution or anything. The governor's comment is he does not want a hodgepodge or patchwork of local restrictions to be in place across the state. So as a result, he says this executive order supersedes, so the city is not in a position for us to either add or remove any of the restrictions or guidelines that his statewide executive order contains. So that's one. Two is because of that, the enforcement of his executive order and the interpretation of any activity on whether or not it adheres to his executive order cannot be done at the city level. And so our website does contain, again, the contact information for anybody who would like to contact the state and ask for or inform the state of anything that might be in violation of the executive order, or to get an interpretation or guidance on some activity. So we can't do that here. I do know that there are some people who are laying this out and saying, well, wait a second, these additional business activities that are now allowed to happen on this coming Friday and next Monday are allowed before the shelter-in-place order expires, which is April 30. And that is true. The Georgia Municipal Association, which represents cities' interest in Georgia, have asked for clarification on that very point, which is how are people able to, say, go get their nails done on Friday, which they would be able to do per this recent order, but how could they do that without violating the previous executive order, which sets a shelter-in-place restriction, meaning you were supposed to stay at home unless you're conducting essential business. And it does not say that a nail salon or a massage therapist or bowling alley are essential. Maybe that's the understanding, but just understand that we at the city do know that there are some aspects of this that can be a little bit confusing, and we've asked for some guidance. The governor's office has confirmed that over the course of the next couple of days, until, or at least today and tomorrow, prior to the Friday, that these certain businesses are able to open, there's going to be some additional guidance coming out, so hopefully that'll clarify some of this. But at the end of the day, this was done at a pay grade above ours, and we are in this with you, so just wanted to try to push the information to you as best we can. One thing to remember is that if any of this makes you uncomfortable, if it's too confusing, if you've got concerns about this, none of this, requires you to participate in any of these activities. So if this order, if you are like, I don't see how, I can get my hair done and still be doing my part to prevent the spread of the virus because my, hairdresser's got to get within 6 feet of me, then don't get it done. I encourage anybody who is concerned about it to stay away until you do feel better about how things are going. I do believe this is probably going to be the way that most of the country is going to kind of relax restrictions, is going to be in a phased approach. It's really not a matter of, it's more a matter of when the governors start doing these restriction relaxing efforts and whether or not they allow it to be done at the local level or not. But I don't think that I think most everybody is going to do the phased in approach. So as a result, again, nothing's compelling anybody from participating in this. So I do encourage you to just only do what you are comfortable with. And what you are comfortable with, just maintain those guidelines that have been a part of some of the orders that have come down previous to this week. So, bear with everybody. I guess we're all feeling our way in the dark right now. And so nobody's perfect. And we'll get through it again as time gets through this. We all were somewhat scratching our heads when the first executive order went out. But when we look back, we're like, okay, wasn't so bad. We got through it. We'll get through it again on this one too. So a couple other things of note. One, again, the shelter in place order is in effect through next Thursday. You have still some time at home. I encourage you again to fill out, if you have not, fill out your census form while you're at home before you get busy again or before you're going back to the office. The city is at about a 55% response rate right now. The state average, or it may be the national one too, but the state average is just under 50%, so we're a little bit above the state average, but we're behind some of our other North Metro Atlanta municipalities, neighboring municipalities like Alpharetta and Johns Creek have cracked the 60% response rate. And so we do not want them to ultimately be getting any more money, especially if it's our money, that they are not legitimately deserving of based on their population. So let's not let people get undercounted and us leave money on the table from the feds. Let's make sure we count everybody in the city. So if you haven't filled it out, please do. It just takes a couple minutes. And the information is, it's protected. And it's really not asking for really much sensitive information at all. Name, birthday, race, and really that's about it. And so I encourage you to do that. And if you know anybody who hasn't, encourage them to do it. Ask around, please. Second thing is we will be having a city council meeting this coming Tuesday. It will be a remote city council meeting. Again, shelter in place is still in effect. So we will be doing it remotely. Now, when the agenda goes out on Friday, there will be instructions for those who want to attend remotely. There will be a link in which you'll be able to click on, and you can actually watch mayor and members of city council conduct the business of the city as they do so from their home. Or you could just call in and listen, either way, but there will be instructions on how to do either. So if anybody's interested in that, that'd be good. And we will be allowing comments both submitted prior to or even somebody typing in at in real time during the meeting any comments they want to make to council. And so there will be a public comment period. It'll just have to be in writing this time. Let's see. We also are transitioning in our Color Our Heroes initiative. We are going to be transitioning from the first week's coloring theme to the new one. So week 1 was our medical professionals, public health officials, and we had that page out there. People who colored were asked to submit it via social media site or send it to the city via email, a picture of it. Those who did, we have your information, and you will be put into a drawing. And we will be drawing later on today about 10 people, random drawing, about 10 people who participated in the program, and they'll be given a gift certificate from that's been purchased from a local Peachtree Corners business. And so that one's complete. And now today we're going to unveil our next one. This one is to celebrate and to show our appreciation for the sanitation, the street maintenance, and the line workers that are out there keeping things running for us, keeping our trash picked up, our streets looking good, our power and other utilities on. This is what the page looks like. You can download it from our website, just like you downloaded the first one. And again, we encourage you to color it and then both post it, like tape it to your front door, front windows, however, to show those who are out there providing these services you appreciate it, and also post it in any way you want, including interesting ways that you could post it on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, and we'll also have subsequent drawings also. So I believe that's about it for what I wanted to talk about today. So I appreciate this opportunity, and hopefully this information you find of some use. We will continue doing what we can at the city to make sure that the environment that you live, work, learn, and play in here in Peachtree Corners is a great place to do that. And we look forward to continuing to serve you in whatever capacity you need us to. So I appreciate your time. Stay safe, and God bless.